Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Tuesdays. Kelly will be with us shortly. I hope you've all had a great week. I know it's been shifting quite a bit, right? These waves going in and out of different emotions and things coming up, but uh, we can look for the miracles in all of this, as Kelly has said. So, looking forward to that. Hi. Hey.
How we doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good. Glad to be here.
I
I
know.
don't know how much longer I can go with no haircuts, but
Oh.
and nails.
I was like, one good thing that I've learned is I am not good at cuticles, I will say.
Ooh, don't cut yourself.
Oh no, I know. I'm like, but we are
Oh.
learning to be a little more creative.
Amen. I know, right?
My
I've
toilet is,
threatened to cut my own hair for years. So if I come in here looking crazy one day, y'all will
or just
know.
like wear pigtails, right?
Mhm.
It
Oh,
is.
so,
I did do a little foot soak the other day, which was really nice. Like
oh,
a little
nice.
pleasure, like to my own self, a little gift. And my toilet was leaking, and I was like, oh my gosh, like wow, like you do, and it's like, of course, in the middle of the night, and I'm a dreamer, right? And I was
Hmm.
listening to your forecast for the weekend, thought that about Kathy Pagano, because I
Yes.
dream like a lot, right?
Wow, you got to do her April thing.
That's what I was going to look it up actually today.
Yeah.
And so Melissa was like looking it up, and I'm going to call a plumber, and she fixed the toilet. She's a plumber now. Who knew, right?
Don't tell me YouTube.
Yeah,
she
she did.
she
It was.
Googled it.
It was YouTube. I was
I've
like,
heard a lot
get
of homes.
it out. It's like,
Yes.
yes. That saves a little bit of money. So we are getting creative, right?
We are getting super
Yeah.
creative.
And another
Absolutely.
great little thing that happened, I just chatted with one of my friends who lives about 45 minutes up the hill from me.
Mhm.
And they're delivering, all the local farmers are delivering their microgreens,
Wow,
right?
nice.
So we're doing little drop-offs like that. So there's like some really cool little things coming out of this.
Oh, definitely. All over the world.
Yeah, all over the
I've
world.
heard lots of good things, actually.
Some really, really good stuff. Yep, your tube. 2 minutes to learn anything, Ella. Anything?
I
Yep,
bet. Oh my God.
I bet. So, what do you have for us this week?
Well, today is the official Libra super full moon, so that's probably going to dominate our conversation because people being home with their families are finding out the relationship dynamics may need some tweaking, may need
Yeah,
some adjusting. It's a mixed blessing. I think it's 50-50. I'm
yeah.
hearing from people who want to kill each other and people who are falling in love all over again.
And
So,
there's a lot of pressure in that cooker, right?
right, right, right.
And a
So,
lot of families who have been like maybe had kids away at college, two of them,
mhm,
or like I'm thinking of a friend of mine who has four daughters actually, and one
mm,
that is triplets, right? And they're seniors in high school, so now everybody's home, right?
wow,
And so
yes.
even the college kids that have come back are not used to like their parents' rules anymore, right?
Totally.
And
It's a
and
tough one.
yeah,
Ah.
it is interesting. The pressure cooker, right?
Hmm.
Is
And then you add a super full moon. The super moon is when it's closer to the earth and in more direct alignment. So the tides are stronger, the magnetic pull is stronger. So whatever your emotions are, good, bad, or indifferent, are going to be stronger generally. And I just wanted to also apologize up front for future hot flashes because they're the worst around the full moon. It's
yeah.
really interesting.
Mhm.
So but I've been working with it and digging in the dirt, doing some little
Yeah.
gardening. And yesterday I went out to film the moon rise, and the clouds came right at the time where I couldn't do it, but I got a few pictures.
Um,
So I'm gonna try again tonight when we get done.
that is another thing that's been really cool is a lot of people are realizing some of the things that they can do on their own, right? Like
Hmm.
like buckets of sweet potatoes that you can grow anywhere in a
Yes.
small yard, or wherever you're at. Or like we
Mm.
talked about with the someone shared with me that someone in Oakland, and I haven't looked this up yet, used rings and made their own greenhouse in Oakland, right? And
Yeah.
then started doing their own microgreens through that,
I
right?
love it. Yes.
Wow. And now teaching people that. So
Hmm.
right? And people getting their own chickens, right?
Wow. Yep.
Sharing eggs. So there's some really simple, great things that we've gotten away from that I think are being we're being reminded of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And get out.
Well, and
Yeah.
what can the artists do? I have a lot of artist friends and massage therapists and chiropractors and people that work with people.
Yeah.
So how do you adapt and adjust that and call in a higher level purpose or a new kind of, I always say, have your business in a way that you can grow legs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we've always talked about multiple streams, but I think if we're going to use the energies that are available right now, we're still very much in a lot of initiation energy from last week. It's only last week. And so the full moon is shining a light in the Libra department right now of everyone, for everyone. And you want to think 6 months ago. Let's think before now. 6 months ago, what seeds did you plant about relationships, partnerships, or collaborations? And what was different? Or I know a lot of people that were wrapping up a lot of loose ends and just initiating new lives on their own after separating from people in long-term relationships that have gone in a new direction. And so I thought about that too with our full moon today, because pretty much since 2010 to 2020, we've been in some kind of zone where one of the big planets was in Libra, pushing us for the last 10 years pretty hard.
Yeah.
In the Libra Scorpio departments, where we have to learn how to relate in all new ways. We have to practice, how to work together and collaborate, because we need each other. No man is an island. At the same time, when we get to the Libra full moon like now, I like to remind people, as much as you might be seeing the endings or what's complete or what's full, you're still in the zone of spring equinox and an Aries new moon. So it's still the new beginnings that we're pretty focused on. And like I said, the initiation energy. So I would say we want to look today, if we're going to do some cards, on where are the imbalances, where can we create some new, what I like to call reciprocal relationships, creative collaborations, and profitable partnerships. How can we call those in, all those levels where the exchange of energy is balanced and reciprocal and fun for everybody involved?
Yeah.
And that's where we're heading. This is still piggybacks on the back of what I've said all along about being as independent as possible and doing as much as you possibly can for yourself, by yourself. You don't have to do it alone. We all have, we have these communities, we get together and talk about what's working and what's not. But at the same time, do as much as you can on your own, and then choose who you want to play with and work with and create with or co-create with. Then you also can be looking right now, as much as we are all limited, what's on the other side of this? Yeah. What is the new normal? What do you want to go forward with? What is balance going to even look like after this extreme break? How do we honor what we've learned? Like, I know a lot of go people have had to stop, and they're learning something about that, because they don't usually do that. That's right. And then I've even heard from people who are used to being in the cave, and this doesn't really affect them in a lot of ways until you don't have a choice. And then it does affect you.
I was just going to say, actually, I've had that with a lot of people who really like the cave, but now that's felt like I've been forced in there, right? And not being able to go to parks or anything has really, forced them to have to really look at things a little differently. Right.
And then calling in the new. I'm big on that. Me in reclamation. Yes. I think that there's plenty of people and support teams and systems and protocols and things and classes we can learn how to deal with the dark night of the soul and picking things apart and, picking the bones, getting deep with it and going narrow and deep to the soul level and really doing that hard, challenging work that we have to do for ourselves. And often we have guides and support systems there. Now, what do you do after that? What do you do after the crisis? What do you do after you have completed a 20-year marriage or a 30-year marriage, and now you're starting fresh and new all over again? I love helping people build or rebuild from that ground zero, which we're all going to feel in some form or fashion on the other side of this. It's a 0 point of possibilities. And the big cycles that are initiating right now are, Jupiter's 12 years. Pluto's 250 years. You know, Saturn's 28 years. They're pretty big. You know, Venus and Mars are 1.5 to 2 years. So they're personal. There are our masculine feminine is getting rewired this year. It's a lot of rebalancing, right? It's a lot of recalibration. So let's figure out what it's good for, what you need it most for. Again, I've sort of instructed people all along that whatever you've neglected the longest is usually what's right in your face at these pressure times.
Yeah.
And then I think of Wayne Dyer keeps channeling through every now and then, and he had a cute analogy that he would use about an orange. If you squeeze an orange, what comes out? Orange juice. Doesn't matter when you squeeze it, where you squeeze it, who squeezes it, what you squeeze it with. No, whatever's inside comes out. Yep. So that's what I mean by people who are used to their MO being a certain way and being able to control certain energies or impulses within themselves or their own balance, right? Maintaining their own balance is getting a little wonky now. And so we got to think about what it's going to take to recalibrate internally as individuals. And then what do you need with community? What do you need in terms of support? If your job has been wiped out, where do you start? You know, where do we start looking for the next job or the next purpose? Really is what I always tell people. Don't look for a job, look for a purpose. Once you have a purpose, the money follows. It really does.
And this is also going to transition. I mean, even, you know, we've talked about this, the fact that we can do this Instagram, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was speaking with someone earlier about how now so many jobs are going to become remote, right? Or back to the basics of like our microgreens and planting, maybe teaching your neighbor how to plant if you know how, right?
And that's the thing, community garden. That's what I love, the urban gardener in the city. There's people taking empty lots and plots and building gardens and teaching the young people how to do it. And there's easy things. We don't have to get complicated, but I know, like you said, the potatoes, onions, you know, the herbs, the basic things that we could eat all the time. Like we buy that stuff every week.
That's right.
You know, and so that would be awesome. And I love being able to just go out there and clip what I need.
I love that.
And the kids love it. And they love feeling like they've cultivated something. They love that they've created life. You know, life is fun when you learn how it works, you know.
Also, there's something about, like you've said, like going out in the soil, right? There's something about getting in with the earth and teaching. I was thinking about that, talking to a friend of mine about how these kids are at home, right? And so they're doing their classes online and how it's like, okay, wait, I was climbing in a tree with kids the other day and talking about leverage, right? And how, what that looks like and how your weight is different at this end of the limb, even though it's actually how it affects it, right? And it was like, wow, they're learning so much in a different way, in a practical way, that we can teach them to make, there's some beauty that can come out of this, right? In a really deep, practical way, right? Without
I believe,
the fear,
I think
right?
so.
I think so too, right?
Yeah.
I think there's definitely a magic in it for sure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when I start to go into a little bit of the funk, I'll go, oh yeah, Kelly said magic and miracles. Look for
that.
That's
right. Don't forget. Because even in the hard stuff, like I said, with Jupiter navigating throughout this year and pretty much pinging us from all sides in different ways, it might be hard. It might be making certain things bigger and uncomfortable. But on the other side of it, we're going to be better off. So think of what's being improved. And we are in the, you know, winter, spring, summer, fall cross quarters, you know, in that way, where we're in an active choice point, and right now we're kind of restricted in our actions and choices what we can really do. So again, I think it's forcing some creativity and asking you to think in different ways and look for your own resources that you never considered, or you never had to lean on, or you never really thought that they were that big of a deal, but yet they can be supportive now. In ways that we have to pull them up. We have to start playing with different ways of responding to this situation, because we don't know, in America, we don't know how long it's going to last. That's the problem here. You know, normal says, okay, 4 or 6 weeks, let it run out. We have this date to that date, and this is what we're going to do, and there's a definite plan. We don't have a definite plan.
We don't have. I'm thinking of someone that just came on, and Laurel, I'm going to say your name just because, oh, I miss you, honey bun. She's you would love, oh gosh, Cal, you guys have to hook up one day. But I'm thinking of it right now. She gave me as one of the gifts this year a coffee pot, a used coffee pot that she had found with soil in it, and gave me lettuce, right?
Nice. I love it.
She could totally do a program online sharing some gardening tips. She's fantastic about
Mm-hmm.
what we can do right now and things that we can prep for what's to come, right? And
Absolutely.
that is
And little easy projects to get people who are beginners to learn.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So just a little shout out for you right there.
Thank
You got some
you.
good ideas. You
And
guys
see, this is community. We
that's
all have
right.
something here. Everyone
That's right.
here has
Yeah.
something to share and to offer and to keep us on track, you know, in one way or another. And no one person can do it all. So that's why we need the community
That's
to
right.
talk these things through, to ask the questions, to pull the cards, to see what's happening in the energetics that we can actually use and direct on our own behalf. Because that's what this energy is really best for. And this week is a couple of Mercury activations, and there is the Mars Uranus one where we're actually feeling the friction of confinement,
Mhm.
and it's a little frustrating. At the same time, like I said, the people who are confined with families, that they need to talk about certain things, they need to rebond, they need to reconnect in a certain way, and it's happening organically. And people are learning how to communicate better, how to collaborate, how to
Huh?
work through this thing, and you know, cooking and cleaning and whatever, making the most of the resources you do have. And again, with just getting super creative, thinking outside the box. What have you never considered doing for money, or for, you know, to, like you said, a trade for vegetables or the
Everything.
things you need? We can do it. We can do trades in a
Yeah.
lot of ways
Yes, we
if you
can.
are connected to the community, and that's what we're cultivating together here. I love it.
I just gave I think it was yesterday. I, my days, you know, there's the time is
Everyone's days.
so
I
like
love
yeah,
it.
like
It's going to break them of that too. I've been
yes
on
it
clocks and
is,
calendars for
right?
years.
Yeah.
So I love it.
I gave one of the young girls I know, young, but she's working from home now, right? And she has to answer
Mhm.
the phone in the first ring, I believe, right? Might be the second one. So
Wow.
she's kind of stuck by this desk, right? And I was like, well, color or paint while you're there. Because sometimes the
Mm-hmm.
phone's only ringing 3 times during the day, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh, I don't know. And so I gave her the adult coloring books, like these
I
big.
love it.
Oh, you like just play with it. There's no
That's
rules,
it.
right? But
I
when
know.
you start tapping into things that we may not have done before,
Right.
you
It
it,
unlocks the imagination.
it
You come up
unlocks.
with new ideas. It
Mm-hmm.
does. One thing leads to another thing, you know.
Yeah.
That's what's great. I love it. I talked to my mother-in-law yesterday, and took out some colored pencils and was drawing the garden the way she wants to do it this year. And
Oh,
my grandmother used to do that. They would draw it out in these beautiful color pictures of the beds and the direct and who was going to be planted with who and how that was going to go. And it's a beautiful creative project if you're stuck inside, and she's in
yeah.
Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
I
it's a
love it.
lot.
It is a lot, but it's also helping us go through
Make
some
some
of
new
that.
neural pathways.
That's right. And yes, it is. And also get rid of some of the junk that we have
Oh my
accumulated
God.
that we've forgotten.
Closet after closet. I'm going through
Yeah.
the whole house. Yes.
Yeah. And our intimate
Plus, I
closet,
want to
right?
be ready after this because I
Yeah.
want to do some new things after this. And it's definitely making me appreciate my beach walks. I can tell you that, you
I
know,
know you
because
still get to do that right now.
no, the beaches are closed. The
Oh,
parks are open. Parks are
okay.
good. We can kayak and we can walk and we can bike.
Oh, good.
So the paths are open, but no beach. Now, he said till May. So maybe if we get an end day at May, they might have had to close them down for spring break at the time. And now
Yeah.
maybe it's normal people who just live here, locals. I don't know.
Yeah.
So we might get lucky and get the beaches open because people are 100 feet away anyway on my beach, you know.
Oh, yeah. You're spread.
So it is safer. It's actually safer than a lot of the ways the parks are a little more congested, actually, because everybody's out. But I love it because I see all these families and a whole crew together. You know, they're making the most of it.
Yes, taking their dogs out. I see picnics like
Mm-hmm. Oh,
uh,
tons of dog walking.
dog walking, or what I've seen. This is kind of like this was uber cute. Like one of my friends is a retired teacher, and he and his buddies get together every week and go somewhere to eat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they pulled up to this. It's called The Habit. So they pull up and they open the back of their cars. They sit out their lawn chairs and they're having they're socially distancing and
Mm-hmm.
eating together and still having their conversation.
Okay,
Right?
thank
Right?
you.
You know.
Got to
Or
work it out.
yes, or a couple I know that celebrated their anniversary a couple weeks ago, And instead of, they would usually go on a trip or something, right?
Yeah.
They
Well,
went
that's
out.
what I was wondering about too. All the birthday babies. I told
Yeah.
you, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, probably to Cancer.
Yeah.
How can we celebrate? What can we do?
Yep.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was going to say, actually, that's happening with one of my friends, and he was taking his girlfriend to Joshua Tree. They were going to go hiking and do all this stuff, right? Well, you can still go to the Airbnb, but nothing's open. So he's like, so what do I do? I was like, go, another Airbnb and go hiking somewhere. Just do a chance,
Mm-hmm.
take a picnic out to the lake and
Mm-hmm.
stay the night in a tent or something. I don't know,
Yeah.
in your backyard.
That's what we want to look into, the camping. There's a
Yeah,
park, there's a Florida park but I don't know.
I
But the
don't know.
camping is so far apart that it seems like it might be possible, but I don't know. But this is
Maybe.
our great season where it's nice.
I've been known to put a tent in my backyard, so
Thank
there
you.
you go.
I know
Right?
that's right. I have a couple of friends. I can go to their backyard.
Yeah, see, it
Um,
works. I mean, you can be
well,
creative with all of this, right? Like,
right.
when's the last
Totally.
time you climbed a tree, right?
Exactly. I actually love to do that around here because in Florida, the trees kind of grow sideways, so they're not so big and
Yeah.
scary.
I like to go to the top of the scary one, so.
That's it. Okay. I knew it. I knew it. Well, let's look at the Libra full moon tools and see what comes up. I want you all thinking about the questions or the cards you want me to pull, or if you want me to hold and open a book, I could do that too. But the issues around a Libra full moon that come up are balance and reciprocity, obviously, in all your relationships, and primary, personal, professional, all of the above. How you relate to others and create true kinship. Balance between self and others, meaning you, the individual, and your community. Mutually beneficial relationships, collaborations, and partnerships are up for renewal. Awareness and integration of individual, social, and collective needs. So we're all getting a crash course in that. Creating win-win situations in all your interactions. Fairness, balance, and justice. Art, creativity, and the essence of beauty is all getting wired in. This is what this full moon is lighting up for us. So get creative, get really creative in any way that you can. The areas of life are being affected, and that's where we need to release any imbalanced or toxic relationships, personal or professional. So this is doing a flush of that. We're getting a super cleanse of things that we might not have been able to speak up for ourselves and say, I got to draw the line. Well, the line's been drawn. So now you're going to be forced to come up with a new way. But at the same time, there's an essence of relief. There's a sense of relief. Rebalance and recalibrate the give and take between you and others. So that's getting recalibrated. Improve or stabilize your team or community of support. So this is where we do a little pruning there. Reclaim individual autonomy within groups and partnerships or collaborations. Deepen your dedication to peace, love, harmony, and balance within and around you. And review and improve your negotiation skills. So that's going to come up because we're going to have to sell ourselves on the other side of this for these new jobs or new purposes that we claim going forward. It's going to be interesting how things go. Renew and improve the beauty in your life, your being, your environment. So again, with spring cleaning is still up. We're good and totally supported for all that. Questions to contemplate are how much beauty is naturally part of your life? Do you procrastinate? And if so, why? Have you been giving out of obligation or with expectations? Do your relationships, partnerships, and collaborations actually support you? Do you avoid facing truths about self by worrying constantly about others? So we avoid the truth in self when we focus on other people and their problems. Mm-hmm. That's a big shadow Libra thing, and at the full moon you want to release it. Do you stay busy? So most interactions are short or superficial. Another one. How is your sense of drive and or purpose? Is it all worth it? So we're big time asking that. Is it worth it? Is the hamster wheel worth it? Is any of it worth it? Are your relationships and community an accurate reflection of you? So again, this is a time we're pruning and cleaning up so that the things that you're choosing, Aries is all about the choices and decisions and new beginnings, are a good reflection of who you are and what you want at this time. And with this opening, this grand opening, to really think about it in a new way and to tap into a new part of yourself that maybe wasn't as active or interactive with you or awakened at this point is going to be helpful, because we need it.
So
We need all hands on deck.
First,
Any
I want to
questions
do
yet?
Any of you guys have a question or a comment, please ask, and feel free to ask at any time. I want to throw that out there for some new people that came on. But also, I feel like, you know, some of these things are shedding away organically, right? Just because of the nature of how this has come about. But also, I want to just know, like for my own self as well, how really paying attention to where my energy is going, right? Even though maybe I have more time, feel that way, right? But I like it's different. Where do I want it? Where am I putting that? Because on the other side of this, we don't want our energy being drained in things that no longer serve us or someone else or situations, right? So if you have a, you know,
we're
like
plugging energy leaks. Any energy leaks, plug them up.
Leaks, plug them up. Like whether that's a negative Nancy you have in your life that's draining on you, and there's like they
or
also,
the doom and gloomers. I think we're all done. It's all over.
Yeah, it's
know.
like let them have their stuff, because sometimes when we try to help also or participate in any way,
they got to come to it on their own. That's it. Delaying their good.
So we need to step away from that. And
help has to be invited. If they ask for your opinion, if they ask for help, you know, then you're clean. Otherwise, you have to just say a little prayer, you know, peace be with them. You know, may they find their way sooner than later, and you know that the resources are there.
Or
but that's where
your energy into jobs that you or that are serving you. That's going to block you from what's on the other side of this, right? It's pulling more of your energy, and we do that out of fear, I think, right? And out of some sort of
it's all unknown now. So you don't know if you can trust starting a new business. You don't know if you can trust going out on your own. But you don't know if you can trust going back to work either. No. So you might as well take a chance on yourself now. That's what a lot of this push is for. I know it's not going to be easy on people who don't really have that drive, you know, that really prefer to be the support team. I get that. At the same time, you're a life. You have a choice. You have, you know, you're here to co-create on some level. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here.
That's right. And you're going to tap into a place in yourself that you'll be surprised what can come out.
Always. I know, right? That's funny. So where are the imbalances? Who needs help? Who needs some support? What are we doing with time?
Actually,
we're good.
Right. Good call. Yeah, we're good. So somebody ask a question, and then we can either share a card. Let's do a card, Kelly, right now. Do one, and then we can
want to just start with the goddess to get a baseline?
Yes.
Let's see if the goddess wants to help today. Which goddess wants to help?
And any of you share anything you're doing that to help keep balance in your life at this time. Like if you want to share something that you're doing that maybe we can share with the group, that would be awesome, right? Yes. Like I know that we've been really focused on our physical body as well, right? And started before all of this, and it's really helped to work with the energies coming in. I know that it's worked for you as well, and I'm sure right? Healthy habits inside of ourselves, right?
And it only takes one or two things. You're not going to change it all in a day. You know, just pick something to work on for a week at a time, or 2 weeks or 6 weeks or whatever you're doing, you know. I've been doing this 40-day thing. So Venus, I've got some new things. I did pull Athena. So we're going to read her in a minute. She's gorgeous. But what I was going to say is the Venus article, new Venus cycle in Gemini is up. It's a YouTube, it's an article, it's an audio. You can check that out on karmictools.com on the blog. And you can reach out to me, Kelly, at karmictools.com for anything. I have been doing a lot of Astro Tarot readings where people are checking in with their cycles and then getting the Tarot reading to get a little more information about where they're at. And that's been really good. But I'm working on the new Venus circle and the new Soul Sister circle. So
I
I'll
know.
be launching soon, you guys. We're going to have
And
so much
I'm
fun.
going to do a little shout out. You are on iTunes now and
Oh,
Spotify.
yeah, it's a podcast. I'm official.
Yeah.
Yep,
Have
you can
fun with
listen to
it.
the forecast anywhere. So, podcast, Google, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, all of that.
Yes. And
So, it's kind of fun.
Laurel, who's on here, she does a podcast. So I want you guys to hook up.
Yes,
So you guys definitely chit chat. And Laurel, email her. You'll get her
please.
email address. Yeah.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And Athena, this is really interesting because right now we have Pallas is Athena in our astrology is really close with the Pluto-Jupiter alignment. So our wisdom is being downloaded right now for this initiation of a completely new truth and purpose and a transformation of our consciousness. Like we're not going back. There is no back.
Yeah.
You know, and I've always had the vision in my head of crossing a bridge that disintegrates behind you. It's not good, bad, right, or wrong. It's just no longer needed, so it's gone.
That's right.
And so, yeah, but I love getting Athena, and she is gorgeous. Athena is presented by the Greeks as the virgin goddess of war and wisdom, a symbol of courage and friendship. She often counsels warriors to gentleness. She is especially honored as a goddess of agriculture, the creator of the olive tree, the flute, the ship, goldsmithing, and shoemaking. I love it. The goddess who introduced the yoke for the oxen and the bridle for the horse. Very practical Pallas. She is a patron of all useful and elegant arts. In Greek mythology, Athena is said to have breathed soul into the men created by Prometheus and to have helped Prometheus steal fire from the heavens to give to the men. Athena is a wonderful affirmation that there are no limits to what a woman or a person can do with their intellect and creative ability.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Susan Boulet's pretty pictures on all these. So yeah, we can use our wisdom. What I did bring today that we can talk about till somebody has a question is the chart. I don't always have that in front of me, but the chart for the full moon, I usually base it in America for Washington, D.C. That gives us a good idea. Has a Scorpio rising. So we are tapping into our power. I want you to think in terms, when we're working with the moon, we work 3 days before, the day of, 3 days after, any full or new moon. Or you can work with the full moon, new moon, the first quarter, last quarter. There's, 4 weeks a month that you can sort of feel the moon moving through your life. And then you want to think Aries, Libra, 6 months to a year. Okay. So this chart, while it just gives us the full moon, right now is going to give us a little signature, I'd say, for the next month. But that month is an imprint on 6 months to a year, if that makes sense.
Quick question. Last week you talked about balancing our fire, water, air, earth signs. What advice for water signs to balance themselves? Hello.
Well, the elements, right. The elements work well together. Earth and water and fire and air are like complementary, let's say. So then you want to think about your elements as the different aspects of yourself. So water being your emotions, earth being your physical body, air being your mental body, and fire being your spiritual body, your spirit soul, your spirit self. So when you have all 4 of those balanced, you're more creative. So to balance out water, you start with earth because you want to give the flow a structure. You want to feel your feelings, but then you want to have good boundaries so that you're not all over the place. And that's what earth does. Get grounded, get present, do some deep breaths. You can bring in the air element that way. And do some stretching to move the blood through your body and see if that doesn't give you some clarity in the moment of what you need. But right now, what's happening, I think I'm picking up, if you're asking this water baby question, is that water babies are the empaths, where the psychics, the empaths, and the intuitives. So they're picking up energy and information and vibrations and feelings. Like we talked about this a couple weeks ago, when you're in the womb, you can hear everything going on, but it's muffled. Or if you're underwater at a deep level of water, you can hear what's going on, but it's muffled. It's not clear. You can't tell where it's coming from, above or below. And think of the ocean, where there's so many creatures that live on the bottom that never come to the top, or only come to the top at certain times to feed, and then they go back down. Same thing with top people. You know, the fish and the creatures that live on the top of the ocean never go down to the depths. So they don't even know each other. They don't even know each other exists. These are alternate worlds. These are alternate realities. So we can learn to play with that concept for ourselves, because we are definitely in an altered reality now. So this alternative is, if it doesn't do anything else for people, I really hope it's waking them up that you can live any story you want to tell. Because there are some people living out some crazy stories that I might not sign up for, but they're real for them. You know, and so they're very, you know, so it's like getting in tune with your heart, what is most valuable. We're definitely simplifying our lives. We know that. Basics, basics, basics. We are, you know, we have first world problems over here. So we have to be mindful, and we have to do it better. And we can do it better. And we are doing it better, because the young people aren't falling for a lot of the, you know, the patriarchal nonsense. You know, that's out of here. So I think this chart, let's say, supports us with connecting with our power and learning to build structures that support us more than just one person. Do you know what I mean? Like, whatever you're doing, we want you to take care of yourself and work that independence piece. Then go forward to see what you can do for the friends and family, for the community, for the world. And trust your gut instincts, that whatever you're drawn to, whatever has the most juice for you, whatever means the most to you at this time. I mean, is it the homelessness? Is it the food? Is it the water or the air? Or, you know, there's something for everybody. You could find the cause you care about and work your small life into that bigger purpose, let's say. Yeah. And finding your connection. Like now, instead of working for paychecks and being on the hamster wheel that way, how can you do something that's actually helping the world? But obviously, we still got to eat, and we're still living in a monetary system. So we want to be able to get paid for that. But this is where the value system changes. And then when we're looking at astrology, Uranus and Taurus, we've talked about this too. The last time it was there was right after the Depression. So new money, credit was conceived and created at that time. Credit's just fake money. Yes. So what is the new money going to be this time? Like, what is the value? That was an interesting shift in values, where all of a sudden you weren't saving gold or cash and being real with it. You were now this was, you know, an IOU for a possible money, right? And then interest got created and all this kind of extra fake money, like just layers on layers and layers. Yeah. And the middleman. America's big on the middleman. I don't get it. I don't understand why. I prefer direct. I don't like this, but there are look at real estate. We'll just use real estate as an example. Yeah. Everybody's got to get paid all the way down the line just for two people to buy and sell a house.
Just say, yes, here's your money.
I mean,
give me the house.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get the stack of papers this high that people have to sign to buy a house. It doesn't make any sense. So that's what I think is getting broken. It's the house of cards that's being revealed, how it's fake, it's not real, it's not sustainable, and patriarchy, we know, is a death-oriented system. So we've got to come up with the life supportive aspects for life so that we can duplicate them, you know, in small ways and to bigger ways. And it's just baby steps. What you can do for you really ripples out. You're not going to save the world. And so for the water babies, check in with what you're feeling. I would say for the fire babies, which would be Aries and Leo and Sagittarius, this is the inspirational time. Like, think creatively, think ahead. You all are those inspired creatures that know how to make that connection to something that's not necessarily here yet. Yeah. And the earth babies, be practical, do your down to earth thing. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Get grounded, simplify, clean things out, get practical, figure out what you really need. I crunched some numbers yesterday. I did a whole thing for the business and everything that I'm doing with my website, because I am creating that teaching platform, and everything costs, you know. And so these little costs that I used to have with the website weren't like this. you know, and now I can see where just to have the websites right now, 2 websites, Kelly and Beard and Karmic Tools, it's like $5,000 a year just to walk through the door, you know, and I haven't even sold a reading. I haven't even done anything else yet. And that did not used to be. I would say it was less than half because now there's more middlemen. Now you got to pay for this security, this placement, this, and this, that. And it's wild. So I'm pretty picky and choosy about what I will invest in because I know the game. But there are certain things that they're not making a workaround for. And so, you know, you're just kind of stuck. So, yeah. And who did I forget? The air babies and the water babies, fire and earth. So air is all about the breath work and the lightening up and the ideas. The air babies are the idea people. That's Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra, where we are right now. The Libra full moon is what is balance and reciprocity? What is our, you know, community or relationships really good for, and why do we have them? You know, and you know, this is a choice. And so we're supported big time in the community right now, but it's also illuminating because it is a full moon where certain communities or connections, let's say, that you have run their course. Yeah. Because we're finding out now what we can really rely on and who we can rely on under these circumstances that maybe wasn't the same before all this went down.
It is so actually, that's a little surprising sometimes, right?
It's a big pill to swallow.
It is. Yes, it is.
But
and
people are processing their own way. So I'm not judging. You know, everybody's going through something, and so you just don't know what they're going through and why they might not be able to be there for you the way they normally are. But that usually shows up in a Libra full moon anyway. And so just take it with a grain of salt and remember to go back to your Aries. That's like my antidote is Aries.
Yes. And equally, other people are showing up that just blow your mind.
Right. That are so giving and so thinking ahead. Yes, I agree. Totally. And that's why you can't give in to the doom and gloomers.
No, you can't.
Because there's too much good still happening and coming out of this.
And then that little piece of that little light shining, right? Like, can really help you in your day-to-day stuff, right? And remember, we are all going through our own process in this. And maybe those people who are surprising you in a way because they're showing up a little differently than you would, right? It's okay to let them go.
But it's okay. That's right. They'll come back in a higher level. That's how it works. You know, we break to realign, and we can always come back at a new level and do it another way, another day. But maybe not today.
Maybe not today.
Today. Give them a minute to recalibrate and be okay with that. And that's what we've been pushed, like I said, from 2010 to 2020 in all different ways. We've been peeling the layers of relationships that do not work. They don't work if we can't be honest, if we can't be reciprocal, if we can't be fair and balanced. They're not going to work. They're not going to last. And so we learn who can be adaptable and adjustable and flexible. And then you learn times where you shouldn't be flexible, where you need to stand your ground. And it's like, no, this is my priority and I'm not going to bend for whatever reason. And let the chips fall where they may. You know, that's then you made a choice. But where we are right now is redefining what community support really is. And then I like to remind you too that this is what it looks like. We've talked about patriarchy dying. We've talked about the broken government system, and the education system just got blown out. Totally. Can we say that the education system is never going to be the same? I think we can safely say that. Yeah. So this is the altar that we needed to get that going in a new direction. And the people who care about education are going to be on it. They're going to get it together and they're going to create new forms. But I've taught my son who's 23, you know, you can grow up and go to college if you want to and if you think that's going to help you, but there's no promise from that piece of paper that you're going to get to work in your field or that you're going to actually get a job. It's all a gamble, and it's an old system. So I'm not saying do away with universities. I love education, and higher education is important, but these student loans are some nonsense. That's and the way they work it and the way they get you in debt without the promise of a job and without you know, you're in debt before you've even started making money as a child. That's a mind fuck. I'm sorry. That's hard.
Don't
That's hard.
apologize. That's really hard. And
And so, and I told him, I've already apologized. I let you loose in a broken system. I'm sorry. You know, it was broken when I got here. I didn't break it, but it was broken when I got here. So we got to just adapt. But my big thing about broken systems is how can we slip through the cracks in a safe way, in a good way? Because that's what's happened to me. Because I never believed in the big system. I have slipped through the cracks in a lot of ways that, like my Crackberry flip phone, I have the biggest giggle when I think about the fact that Trump cannot send me messages to my phone the way he can do all y'all. He can't get anywhere near me. I am protected. So I love that. But I'm off the grid and I got limitations and there's ways that that doesn't work all the time.
but you're willing to
But
do
it's a
that.
choice.
It's a choice.
Dig it. Exactly. Yeah.
Right. I'm going to ask you to
one
draw
super phone per family.
draw a card for the water babies in the group. If that's okay. Would that be
we
all
could
right?
do each element. Sure.
Another water baby come up. And there's a big thank yous and great descriptions for you, by the way, Cal.
Yay. Cool. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Let's see what we can do here. So for the feelers of the world, what do we need to know about today that will help our process going forward? And think about the next 2 weeks of just giving your relationships a little attention. Entertaining ideas and possibilities that maybe you wouldn't have entertained before is a good idea too. Again, I'm thinking about the chart. You know, we're restructuring how we express ourselves and how we communicate and do that, but we're finding the new values and priorities with that as well. So there's a shift going on, you know, and that's the thing. All year, you know, we're going to have these initiations and we're going to have some retrogrades. We're going to have some, you know, bigger challenges along the way as well, but it's all leading to something. You know what I mean? Like one thing leads to another, leads to the next thing, leads to the next thing. So it's preparation for, you know, it's a response to the last thing, preparation for the next thing. And paying attention to the rhythm. Right now in the chart for our full moon, Pisces rules the home. So the water signs are ruling the really important areas of identity, home, and where's my Scorpio and Pisces? Where's my Cancer? Where's my Cancer? Eighth, ninth house. Okay, so we have, you know, this higher education going on with learning to, like I said, by being an empath, you feel things. So you have to learn the difference in the sensations too. So try to be mindful, try to catch yourself, try to pay attention to the feeling in your body when certain things come up or certain things are said or done around you, or the vibe shifts and changes, how that works for you. And then I'm trying to think, the healing is going on in our creativity. Aries is in the 5th house on this one. So that's where you're doing the kind of the creative projects alone. Like a vision board is something I have done in a group, but that's something you can do on your own. You can make a vision board. You could even do it on the computer if you're not a big magazine cutter and things like that. If you don't have anything around the house, you can pick pictures online and make a collage and just pick the pretty pictures that speak to you that way. I just had a client that wants to kind of activate her inner artist. So of course I told her about the artist way, but it was soul collage is another way that we can do that. It's another woman that created these cards and this whole protocol for healing through the arts. And it's called Soul Collage. And I think it's just soulcollage.com. But it's something that you can do your own personal healing with, and then maybe you could go forward and do with others as well.
And that's a great do with kids too right now that are home, right?
Totally.
Getting them in the mindset of creating what the life that they want, right? And putting it out there.
And definitely the ancestors are watching. The ancestors are with us. They are watching over us and they're helping every way they can, you know. And so water baby support. Here we go. Let's see.
Since I'm a water baby and all, right?
Okay. Hearing noises. So we got 8 of Fire, Insight.
Ooh, pretty.
Pretty. And the shadow card was 5 of water, is loss. So we'll read those two and see what they say.
Okay.
So we have a 5 and an 8. Fire and water. So want to get creative. That would be the first advice for the water babies. Get creative with what, work with what you got, and just, I mean, I'm learning. I see we talk it up too. I said I wanted to create mobile Kelly and then at home Kelly, you know, so I'm really thinning things out and going through so much. And oh yeah, 10 minutes. So let's do this. See if we can keep it on an hour. I don't want Melissa to get mad at me.
Oh, she doesn't get mad.
Okay. I'm like,
right,
I don't want to.
Right?
Is she there? Okay, good.
Yeah.
So the 8 of fire is insight. So we have keywords in this one. And this is the Vision Quest Tarot with this little tiny book that's falling apart. Insight, a light goes on, seeing through, quick assessment of a situation, productive communications, effortless sharing, I love it, spontaneous changes, moving on. This is so on point for our week. I mean, this is really great. Oh my God. Because when you have to think a new way, that's when the lights are going to go on. Seeing through, like I said, Scorpio ruling the chart, that's our X-ray vision. We can see through things that are not truth, that are not raw truth or higher truth right now. And so the inner message is much is becoming clear to you now. Your inner channels are open, enabling you to be frank, honest, and most important of all, speak from your heart. On a personal level, you are in a position to clear up an important matter. Since you have nothing to hide or protect, you can share your insights lovingly. So nothing to hide or protect. That's another thing about right now, not having anything to lose. You know, a lot of us are in a position with nothing to lose. So initiating something clean is possible. The outward manifestation can be clear ideas and practical suggestions will move what has long been stagnant in the right direction. If you don't insist on your own vision, but dare to see through the eyes of everyone involved, an agreement will be reached rapidly. It doesn't matter who comes up with the best idea. What counts is that the matter gets resolved to the benefit of all. Deep breath. So 8 of fire also makes me think of being really creative. Of course, getting those insights, asking the question invites the answer. So if you're wondering, I always phrase those kind of questions about, you know, what is the lesson and purpose of this? What is the lesson and purpose of being blocked in this way, or losing my job, or losing the connections to the people I love most because now we're all under pressure and it's hard. You know, what is the lesson and purpose? Because once you can get to the lesson and purpose, it's a little easier to deal with and not be so upset. So we're looking for 5 of water. 5 is always the breakdown that precedes the breakthrough, which is also something we're doing these days, a lot of. I got the 3. 5 should be around the corner. We're going to make it, y'all.
Yes, we are.
5 of water. So the key words are loss, disillusionment, meltdown. How many? I know my water babies are probably having a few meltdowns here and there. Leaving the old. Who, me? Leaving the old, instability, pain, possible separation, torment caused by misinterpreting one's actual situation. So again, asking, what is this good for? Not just the lesson and purpose, but what's it good for? What's the hidden potential? Where's your blind spot when you're not paying attention, but where's the hidden potential? So the inner message is something inside you has reached a critical point of ripeness. We're ready for this. It wouldn't have happened if we weren't ready. And, you know, and again, if we had forethought and acted ahead of time in certain ways, yeah, that'd be great, but that's not really who America is. So we really are still the toddler of countries. We're babies and we're not following directions very well, and it's hard when you're just learning. So something is ripe. Your cups are completely full, and now you begin to understand the significance of this card. What is full to the brim will be emptied naturally. organically. Whenever there is a high point of plenty, there is a change, and in time, a return to the emptiness from which it all began. So deep breath. And that was the bowls here, where 3 are cracked and spilling, but 2 are still intact. So we still have something to work with. And we're looking at that sliver of a moon. And then the outward manifestation, fullness and abundance for our super full moon, marked by a situation reaching its peak. And in an important area of your life, the height of success has been reached. Now circumstances will change. This doesn't mean failure, though. Your momentary satisfaction already feels a little stale as you look ahead. This kind of gratification must be losing its grip on you. Outer riches and success in business no longer provide the desired inner fulfillment. Deep breath. So going with the flow is something water babies are supposed to be able to do, and being able to clarify your feelings along the way. You know, is this me? Is this someone else? Is this, you know, relevant and useful? Another good question, you know, to just ask over and over. If you are being pulled in different directions, that's how you get the priorities going back in order. And there's, you know, just again, asking the question invites the answer.
Right. Asking the question invites the answer. And those are, you know, you can keep a little in your car, put it on your phone, in your notes, and just when something hits you, just quick, give yourself a reminder until that becomes a habit that you actually, right? That you're continually asking, like, is this mine, not mine? What is it, right?
And I need suggestions, everyone, because I'm not good at Instagram. And we finished the Wise Woman Collective bundle that I sold.
Instagram.
And so now I don't know what to post every day. I'm out of things to post. So I've got some sunsets and I've got my quotes. I've got some weekly stuff, but I don't really have daily ideas, y'all. So you're going to have to give me some ideas.
Yeah, email her, please. Right?
Yes.
Like, yes, definitely. And, you know, just even thinking about this, the list of questions, that might be a good thing to start with.
A good cheat sheet I could do a cheat sheet.
Yeah, like
with those parts for the Libra full moon.
Yeah.
Then maybe I could use one of my full moon pictures.
Yeah, and maybe
from
you'll
the
get
fancy
tonight, right?
Maybe. Maybe. I'm gonna get some more. Yes.
So quick shout out of where they can reach you and what you have, what offerings you still have going on right now.
Kelly at karmictools.com. And of course, the readings and sessions are good. I'm coming up with 2 free calls, April 16th and 23rd, where you can join me to get the introduction to the new Venus cycle. That's all that's cooking right this second, though.
And we'll make sure we share that ahead of time. So make sure you get that over to me, right?
But the article's up. If you're curious about what it is, you can dive in already. But I'm going to get that together for a call where we all get together. You
also still have the readings that you're doing. I know you do an IG offering, an Instagram.
Oh, yes.
And
yeah, the Astro Tarot is usually $150 for, if you mention Instagram, it's $25 off, and I send you a special link.
Yeah.
So just let you know that you found me on Sacred Sandbox.
Yes. And the reminder questions to ask ourselves this week. That's great for Instagram. I love that because that gets people thinking, right? Also.
Yeah, I'm the queen of questions.
We can forget, like during the conversation like this, like just 3 quick questions.
What did she say? It was a really good question.
I go back and I go, what were those dates again?
Right. And so check out the blog. Definitely check out the YouTube channel for the replays. If you've missed any of the past Instagrams here, they're all uploaded. And that's where the support is. We're still in initiation. We're still opening up to miracles. But right now, this week, let's focus on balance and reciprocity. What's going on there, you know? And maybe some hard conversations need to be had. But at the same time, work on you first. You know, when you change, everyone around you will change or go away automatically.
Well, change or go away. I like that a lot. Thank you all for showing up.
We love you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Not
reach out if you need to. Right? That's right. And
Bye,
I'll have some fun later. Peace and love.